Good morning. It really is a privilege to be able to come into your homes this morning and share just a few thoughts with you. And when Eddie asked me to do this, I did think that I would depart totally from the current situation, that I wouldn't talk about the virus, I wouldn't talk about any issues relating to it. I'd try to give you something different, maybe something that would take your minds off it. The more I thought about it, the more though I was drawn to where we are now, to what is happening, the way it's affecting people's lives, and felt really for what I have to say to have any relevance, it must be linked to the current situation. I also must confess this is probably the third or fourth time I've recorded this talk. I had recorded it and I thought it sounded really good until Wendy pointed out that I wasn't wearing a tie. And I never do a talk without wearing a tie. So this is version number 4 or 5, hopefully with a tie, and hopefully I'll look a bit smarter. Unlike my desk, you'll see this has become my temporary workstation for the last 3 months, and it's untidy as my desk at work is. So apologies for that. But in thinking about the current situation, I'm very much drawn to the fact of how much life has changed during this period. Not just the thoughts of the issues that we're facing, but our whole actions and all our behaviours seem to have changed quite dramatically. For example, who before this had heard of social distancing? Now it's become very much part of our vocabulary. In fact, for some, I think it's actually become an art form. I've seen many, many bizarre ways in which people try and avoid other people, not just crossing the road. I actually saw somebody jump into a hedge the other day to ensure that they avoided somebody on the path who was actually walking by with their dog. All sorts of strange things that we've done. We've actually allowed people to do things we would never normally do in our day-to-day lives. For example, I have allowed Wendy to cut my hair, and actually, I think she's done a pretty good job. So I'm quite pleased with that. Just shows how desperate things have become when you're allowing your wife to come at you with sharp implements in order to cut your hair. I'm actually waiting for the opportunity to cut her hair, which she's resisting at the moment, but I have hope that sometime in the future the shears will come out and I can really attack her with enthusiasm. Only her hair, of course. But we are doing very different things. Our behaviours have changed, the way we live have changed, and we're facing a very challenging time. Many of you will know that I work for Eastleigh Borough Council, and one of my jobs at the moment is not just thinking about how we might cope with the current situation, how we might deal with some of the pressures that are faced by the changes in lives that we've experienced over the past few weeks. A lot of my time now is spent thinking about the future, thinking about what things might look like in 6 months, 18 months, even 3 years, 4, 5, even 5 years. Very much thinking about the future. We call it recovery in terms of getting back to where things were. And the question I'm frequently asked by many people, by staff, by members of the public, is when will things return to normal? And my immediate reaction to that is, well, actually, I hope they don't. Which may sound a very surprising, a very, very odd answer, given the problems that we're facing. There are certainly some things I definitely want to see an end to. I want to see an end to the suffering that people are undergoing at the moment. I want to see an end to the virus. I want to see people's lives return to some sort of normality, but perhaps not the normality that it was before. Because one of the things we're seeing during this current crisis is some of the amazing reactions of people. I think we're actually learning the importance of caring for one another. When this crisis first started, back at the council, we put out a plea for volunteers to help deliver food parcels and medicines to the most needy of our society. And within a single week, we had over 1,000 volunteers serving somewhere in the region of 2,500 people. An amazing response to that simple call for help. And frequently we have seen that over and over again. We've asked people to change the way they work, to actually change the method in which they do their jobs, and they've done it. They've coped with incredibly difficult circumstances just to ensure they can continue to meet the services and meet the needs of the people, the residents, and those who are in and most at need. And I'm sure you yourself will have seen amazing acts of kindness, not just now, but things that have gone on and on and on. We've seen people work tirelessly to support communities. And I think one of the things we've learned throughout this, how important communities are and how important we are to one another. Because when I talk to people about the problems they're having, the problems actually don't tend to be around food, about the simple basic necessities of life. It's much more about the personal contact. What they miss is meeting people. That simple cup of coffee in a cafe or at Cornerstone in the coffee bar. They're having a laugh at the barbecue with family and friends. All the sorts of things that we used to enjoy and take for granted and now, hopefully, temporarily on hold. So I do think we've learnt the importance of one another. And as we come out of this, I hope, and I actually do believe, we will see a very different society emerge. One that was built much more on the value of human beings, the value of society, the value of people to one another. And I think that's going to be a really strong basis on which we build a new society. And I can tell you a lot of the recovery plans that we're doing are built around exactly that. How can we strengthen some of the really good things that have happened during this time? But I think that poses quite a unique problem for us as Christians. I mean, the first thing to say is that we have this amazing message of hope. A hope that is sustaining us through this difficult time. A message of hope and trust in Jesus Christ. And one of the good things that's come out of my life is that each morning Wendy and I now read Psalm 91. Now, if you've not read it, please do. It's a psalm that could well be written for a time such as this. But we read the psalm together. We then have a simple Christian song, one of the more modern ones, which we enjoy normally. And then we have a very short time of prayer. Something we've never done before, but something we're now is really part of our lives and something that's brought us closer together with each other, but also brought us closer to God as well. Because the more you focus on our Lord, the more you focus on Jesus, you realise what a powerful message he is giving. A powerful message of trust and a powerful message of hope, not just for now, but for the future. So when we're thinking of recovery, not just in terms of, when will I be able to go to the cinema again, or when will I be able to go to a friend's house again, when will I be able to do all those things again? As a Christian, let me pose that question to you. As a Christian, what do you think recovery should look like? Because I think there's a challenge. And I have absolutely no doubt that that Jesus Christ will put opportunities in our way, both as individuals, both as a church, where we have the opportunity to build that new society, to be part of building a society that's not just based on people's love, people's support for one another, that's built on the love and hope of Jesus Christ. We have the most powerful message of all, and I have absolutely no doubt that God will put those opportunities our way. I suspect he's already given us all many opportunities through this process, but as we go forward, I believe we will have many, many opportunities to build the new society based on the love of Jesus Christ. And that's why I was drawn to the message. I'm sorry, that's the dog that's just run past, if you're wondering what that noise was. And that's why I was drawn very much to that reading from Ephesians. It is very much talking about Jesus Christ being the cornerstone. We haven't named our church Cornerstone purely by chance. It is the cornerstone. Jesus Christ is the cornerstone of our lives. And the inevitable song that Wendy and I play most mornings, because perhaps it inspires us the most, is indeed Cornerstone. My hope is built on nothing less than Jesus' love and righteousness. What a wonderful message that is. What a wonderful message of not just for now, but for the future. And wouldn't it be fantastic? Wouldn't it be absolutely wonderful if we could be part of God's plan to build a society where indeed it is built on the love of Jesus Christ? So my hope is built on nothing less than Jesus' love and righteousness. Christ alone, Cornerstone. Thank you for listening. I wish you good health. I wish you all the best for the future, and I do look forward to a time when we can meet together and enjoy a cup of coffee. Thank you very much. Amen.